check. Hey, welcome back to the channel. Got a little something on the bench. Working out a little late night with PropsOff. I've never done a live stream late at night, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna see what it looks like. So today or this evening, after midnight, I'm gonna work on multimeter. So we'll go ahead and jump over here to the bench, and let me just set up one more thing. Just making sure my chat window is popped out. So on the bench here, we're gonna do looking at putting the multimeter to work. This quadcopter here is the HD0 all-in-one bind and fly quadcopter, and I'm really curious to wonder what the amp draw is of it, because it gets so awfully hot, and because of that heat that it builds up, I'm curious to wonder how much amps is it drawing just sitting there transmitting, all the other things functioning. But I need to build a harness, so I'm going to build a wire harness so that I can use my multimeter. And then I was going to go through a couple other things with the multimeter just to kind of, you know, maybe answer some questions people might have. I have in my quick tips on my channel. Let me see here. Make sure. So let's jump over here real quick. So here on the channel, if you go to my playlist, and then right here, this quick tips, there's, hey, welcome back to my channel. Quick tip here. We're gonna do let me see here, full playlist. Okay. So I have quite a few videos already on the multimeter, how to check continuity, how to do this, how to do that. But I thought, you know what, I've never done a live stream to kind of go through some of the things on there that might be helpful to you. So that's kind of what we're looking at doing. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and solder this harness up, and then whoever might jump in the chat, we'll see what's going on. Anybody have any questions? Let me turn my camera over here. Hopefully my audio is coming in. Hopefully the video is coming in. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and work on this. And I thought, you know what, if I'm gonna burn the midnight oil, I might as well see if anybody else wants to burn the midnight oil with me. I gotta remember to stay in the frame here, though. I'm kind of good at like trying to work in my lap, you know. But yeah, just thought I'd jump in here. I just got done filming a giveaway video that I'm gonna premiere it, I think, tomorrow. 6-year anniversary. Can you believe that? PropsOff's got 6 years done. 6 years. It's hard to believe. But yeah, just got done filming that, and I thought, you know what? I've never done a live stream late at night, and I know I've got some West Coast people out there and some people overseas. So I imagine most people will be in bed by now on the East Coast. I'm just going to tin these up real quick and then put an XD60 to them. that frame. I could zoom in a little bit more for you. Does that look all right? Let's see here. Pull this over just a little bit. Kind of got lucky and had a couple of them that already had, already had some stuff done to it. Already had this end already on there, so kind of makes it a little bit easier. Had a good weekend this weekend watching the whoop racing out at the Northeast Whoop Championships with Weebleed. Had a couple of my hometown guys there. Super fun watching them. That should do it. Got a good connection there. Positive to positive, negative to negative, so that's always good. I always like to put a little marker on them, so I always mark the ground, and that way it's easy to identify quickly. So I just mark that, make sure we don't flip the polarity around by accident. And then I got my, this is amazing heat shrink tubing on my Amazon store. If you go there, I don't receive any money right now from Amazon store. But anyway, it's in the I think it's in the soldering section on my Amazon store, the link for this one. This particular one is pretty nice. The shrink tubing has an internal glue. I do add my own. So, see if I can find it here. Just use this one. I usually just kind of snip off a chunk of this and put in there with it. Let's put a bit of heat shrink tube on there. Probably going to need another one for the other one. So yeah, this is some pretty good stuff. It's a little bit thicker, so it's a little more rigid. It's got a lot more elasticity to it than some of the stock ones like this you get from the vendors. It's really thin, and it doesn't have as much elasticity to it. So sometimes when you heat it up, it wants to crack and rip and break. This one here, you have to put a lot more heat to it, but it seems to hold up a bit better. So I'm just gonna heat up some hot glue here and put it down in there. I like to do this rather than just using regular heat shrink. Put a little bit of hot glue on each side. And then that'll act like a strain relief. So it not only insulates things from touching, like you would put two separate tubes in there, it actually will act like a strain relief, so that when the wires are being moved around, they won't break off. I think it's kind of long. Let's shorten them up a little bit there. Nobody in chat yet. Yeah, I thought I'd test it out, just kind of see how many people would be interested in seeing a live stream late. Sometimes I stay up too late. So I'm just going to build this harness out so I can get some measurements from that, and then I'm going to do some voltage checks on this battery that I got. That's kind of nice. The hot glue in there gets heated up, and then you just kind of give it a little mush. Dude, right there, that ain't coming loose. The wires aren't going to break off, and then also the hot glue will seal it up so you don't have any oxidation. You know, you might have some corrosion happening on the wires in there, and then it actually eats the wires through, and then it just pops, or it just breaks. So if you're doing that on your quad, that'll seal it up, strain relief it, and keep it from getting anything happening to it. So now we should be able to plug in our LiPo. So we're gonna use these LiPos for the test. I got the band on there letting me know that they're charged up. So that one's done. We'll get the other side here. This one here is going to be a little bit more of a pain for me to film and for you to see it. I like to turn, I don't know if you could see on this BT 2.0 connector, it has a flat edge on it. I like the flat edge to face out, especially if I'm, attaching a wire that's larger diameter than the actual pins. Because if the wire is larger than the pins, they can rotate around and touch. Of course, we'll put some heat shrink and hot glue in there to keep that from happening, hopefully. And this one here, this one's kind of tinned up already, but the wires are kind of big. All right, so we'll go ahead and tin this dude up. This is just flux paste I'm putting on here. You don't want to use that on electronics, but it's fine for the wiring. It has a little etch in it, so it bites in, it gets a bond a little quicker. Just give it a little bit of tin. Let me check something real quick on my chat. Sometimes it freezes up. Just want to make sure I got the right one in there. No use in having chat up if nobody's in here wanting to chat. See some people in here, but forgot to put my little handy dandy mark on there. This is really handy for when you're whoop racing in LEDs and it's so dark, like it's really dark in the venue and you're not sure like which side's which. This little stripe right there will make it real easy for you to tell what side's ground, what side's hot. We'll get the ground on the face out. Yeah, so I don't know. Thought I'd see what it's all about. Late night. Give it a little bit more flux in there. Don't want that to go dry on me, because if it does, then I'll have to add too much heat to this little connector. All right, got the ground side done. Try to get that even as I can so one side ain't pulling on the other. Go ahead and get some more flux in there. Just make sure it flows all the way around. All right. So there's the other end of the harness, so that's all completed. Go ahead and get some shrink tube on that dude. Get this hooked up to the multimeter and see what this HD0 all-in-one has to say for itself. Just gonna change this view here for you, and then we'll go ahead and get some tubing in here. Yeah, this stuff shrinks down pretty far. You know what? I could, I don't know. I don't really want to waste any, but I could kind of show you how small it can go. So you can see here how large it is, diameter, and then after shrinking, how small it can get. That's another nice attribute for this shrink tubing is it's more than half, so it's kind of nice. But we definitely don't need to use that much. We'll get some hot glue in there. Same scenario. Then that hot glue will melt in there, and it'll keep the two pins from rotating around and allowing those two larger wires from rotating into each other, because that's not fun. Then the hot glue also kind of holds it in position while you're heating it up. I do have a hot air station, so you know I wouldn't make the insulation yellow for burning it, but then the hot glue squeezes out the end a little bit, and that dude's ready to go. So easy peasy. Get this out of your way. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna show you how to multimeter a lipo. I've done this on the channel, but I had a few people say, they had some questions, so I thought, you know what, maybe there'd be some people that have questions about that. Well, I got the meter out of mine as well. Hi from Singapore. It's 12:30 in the afternoon here. Well, that's wild. Dave Love to Fly. Thanks for coming in. Just gonna do an amp draw test on this HD0 build. This is the all-in-one, the 5-in-1 HD0 quad. I was given this by one of the guys. If I didn't have one, and he said, "Here, this one's broken. If you can fix it," and I did fix it. So I just want to check the amp draw on it. It gets really, really hot. So I'm curious to wonder. Let me go ahead and mark this while I'm at it. This side I'm not going to mark because this is a special wire harness that I've made for amp draw, and the polarity depends on what I'm measuring, so I'm not going to mark that, but I am going to mark this one. So now I won't make the mistake. plugging it in wrong. All right, so this will go to the quadcopter. So we'll get our meter out here. We'll take the standard leads off. And we'll go ahead and plug in our special wire harness to the amp side. And then we'll go ahead and pull this over to the amp. This meter is really nice because it has amps. It's automatic, so it does DC and AC, so it can tell which one. So plug in our LiPo there, plug in our LiPo here. See that? That's a lot. That's more than I thought it was going to be. That's 1.56. 1.56 amp draw on a I mean, I'm going to give or take a little bit of amp draw just because the amp, you know, the circuit has to go through. This wire is pretty large though, so there shouldn't be any resistance to speak of. So yeah, that's 1.556. That's a lot more than I thought. That really draws a lot of amps. The board gets warm really quick. I was actually surprised when I was working on it how hot that dude gets. It doesn't seem to affect. There's a lot of people flying it, and it doesn't seem to affect the flight. It still seems to go pretty good. So my microphone. Hopefully my microphone's coming in good. You know, just because I built this harness just for this occasion, I should grab one of my other quads here. Let's do an amp draw. Oops, try to tear the place down. Let's do an amp draw on an analog. So this is one of my race quads. It's an analog, and this has the Happy Model OVX 300 VTX in it, and it's set to 25 milliwatt. This one is set to 25 milliwatt because I just got done working on that one and fixing it. So we'll go ahead and do an amp draw on this guy. All right, so we're at 0.53. So 0.5, it's literally 1 amp less draw just sitting and transmitting. I don't run pit mode or any reducive power or anything, so this is transmitting 25 milliwatt right now because this is one of my race quads, so it's ready to go. So that's kind of interesting. So 0.5. Let's do this one again, just cause, right? Microphone is good, hearing you loud and clear. Hey, I appreciate you letting me know that. Sometimes I get a little nervous. You know, live stream, I don't know why, but live streams make me nervous. My mouth gets dry. Pardon me for a second while I take a drink of water. I do get kind of nervous. I mean, I've been making videos for a long time. This is my 6-year anniversary. So PropsOff was born 6 years ago. And then I did unlisted videos for people to help them out for a couple years before that as Scooter Pie. So that's why I got my name is Scooter Pie on my jacket. But a friend of mine talked me into doing it live, like doing a show. He's like, yeah, people want to see that, man. Do it. So PropsOff, 6 years old. It's pretty wild to think. Man, that's something. Man. I'm not really that surprised because of how hot the thing gets. But yeah, it's 1.74. You know, as that heats up, that goes up. So as an electronic component warms up, there's more amp draw capability. So now we're up to 160. So 1.6 amps. If you're sitting on the line racing and you've had that on that long, I mean, it's pretty warm. It doesn't affect me too much because I worked restaurant too long, and you know, I got a lot of calluses on my hands, so it's not burning me too much. But yeah, well, you've seen it, 1.6 amps. So there you go. There's the answer. So I'll report into my club this Sunday we have a race. I think this Sunday we have a race. So I'll let them know what the amp draw was. So yeah, handy dandy little harness. See, Bagsy, how you doing? Thanks for coming to the channel. Yeah. Australia. I seen you the H&H drone racer guys. Man, I was bummed out. I was kind of gutted for them. I was in the live stream watching them fly. I they have the 3D plane that they had created, and they sent it for a maiden, and that thing, I mean, as soon as it left his hand, it just rolled right into the ground and just came apart. I felt so bad. I've been following their channel, like watching this progress of this homemade 3D printed plane, and I felt pretty bad for him seeing that thing go into pieces like that. But I think they're from Australia. That's why I brought it up. Let me grab my other leads here, and then I'm checking this back. I don't know if you can see, this is one of my older race batteries that I've been using. So far I've got at discharged, so this is after a race, I've got 20 IR, which is high, but fully charged it's 10, so I'm still running it. I don't smell anything. I'm getting 2 minutes and 38 seconds of flight time out of it. So, but you can tell it's been abused. But I'm gonna go ahead and just test out each one and see if. So I've had this in storage for a little while, and I want to see if one of the voltages is really low. So then I know that cell has too much IR, and it's not helping me in a race. So if one cell's kind of done, it'll discharge over time on its own versus the other cells. That's one nice thing about our line. At the time, I don't know if something's kind of changed with lipos lately. I've not had a real good amount of luck lately, but the manufacturer, any manufacturer that will go in and match cells is a good lipo. So what they'll do is they'll take each cell and they'll check the IR of each cell, and like you want to pair it up. So each cell needs to be the same internal resistance, so that way the whole pack is equally discharged. If you have one cell that has a lot of IR, internal resistance, and then another one that hardly has any internal resistance, that one cell will discharge faster than the other one. So that's kind of how that works. You don't want that in racing, because then that's where you get a lot of battery sag. As far as harnesses, I thought I would share a couple things. So that I purchased these. So this is the end that goes into the meter, and then the alligator claws. So this is for doing larger projects, so you can kind of grasp onto things. And then I purchased these. So then, these are just your micro leads. They have a little spring clip that comes out. So these are really handy to have. They do take an adapter, just a longer cord, but these are really good to have if you're doing smaller projects. And then I also have these, so you can clamp these on, just the regular alligators. So these are really handy to have. I don't really use much else other than the standard leads. So we'll grab these dudes back out. So this is the standard leads. And then the alligator, these alligator clips here, I'll clip onto the stem. So when I use those alligator clips, I'll take the insulation off and expose the whole stem. So pretty handy to have. So we'll go ahead and pop on our DC voltage. Let me pull chat up here. There. Now you guys can see each other's chat. CMYK, how you doing? Thanks for coming to the channel. My first time ever live streaming after midnight. So it's almost 1 a.m. I thought I can't sleep. I'm having a hard time sleeping, so I thought I'm gonna work on some stuff and maybe share some information. So just did an amp draw test on the HD0 5-in-1, 1.6 amps, just sitting, transmitting. So I'm just going to measure this battery, see if it's still any good. So we have our DC voltage set up, ready to go. The light on. You can see that screen at all, can you? Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit for you. I gotta turn the chat back on in here, but it's kind of coming up behind me. It's too big. Let me fix this real quick. I don't want it too small because then you can't read it. There you go. Trant, how you doing? Sorry, that's Train. How you doing? Sorry about that. The screen that I'm having to look at for my chat is really small, so, and the lighting is pretty bright. Welcome to the channel. Just kind of messing around with some stuff. I thought, you know what, I've never done a late night stream, so we'll give it a shot. So we're gonna go ahead and grab our ground here. I'm gonna kind of refrain from looking around too much because I don't want to cross paths with the LiPo here. So we're 3.8 volt there, 768, 1150, 15.3. So now we'll go to the next one. So 3.8, 3.2, 3.83. I mean, you can't get any better than that. Look at the condition of that thing. I mean, I've had this battery for a while. I take really good care of my batteries. I do. When I get home, I have the ultimate charging station, so there's no excuse not to. I storage charge my LiPos, and they're in a nice, cool, not cold, but cool, dry spot. I've had this packed for, I don't know, I've probably been running him for a couple years now. And you could see he's seen some better days, but you just seen the voltage is spot on. And this is we're getting into warmer weather. This has been winterized, so all the cells are right on the money, so I'm pretty happy with that. So I kind of accomplished all the things that I was working on. Let me check out chat here and see if anybody's got any questions. Doing all right. Dave Love to Fly. Hi everyone. Sorry to ask, do anyone have problems with using the Darwin F411 all-in-one? Updated the firmware to 4.5, but I couldn't get any OSD from both Walksnail 1S and the 04 Lite. You know, that's a tough one for me to answer because I don't have any Walksnail. I actually I contacted Walksnail, and I asked if I could look at their equipment because, you know, I want to help out my new people that come to the club and new people that come to my multi-GP chapter, you know, my local chapter, and then some of the STEM programs that I've helped with. And I contacted Walksnail and I said, can you send me the equipment? I know it's expensive, so maybe give me a test period. I'd send it back. Just give me an RMA. I'll send it back. I'm not looking for handouts or anything. And they said they have reached the maximum for my country. So whatever that meant, I didn't get to do any Walksnail, and I don't know anybody that runs it. So I don't have any information on the Walksnail. The 04 Lite, you mean the 04, because there's 04 and then there's 04 Pro. I know that people do call it an 04 Lite, but it's just 04. I'm not sure about that either because I own the older Air unit and Vista and stuff like that, and there's some things that you have to do to get the Betaflight OSD to work. So I apologize, David. I'm not able to answer a question on that. I'm trying to think. Like, I know that if you go into CLI, you can type in, um, you can look like what it's set on and see if it's on HD, but you can also go into the OSD tab of Betaflight and you can see whether it says NSTS or NTSC or PAL or HD. And as long as that HD signifier is in there, it should be chosen. Michael, how you doing? Welcome to the channel. Hello, I got a drone. Don't know what kind it is, but it's FPV drone. And when I plug it in, it boots up. The motors beep, but when I plug it into Betaflight, it doesn't connect. What can that be? So when you plug into Betaflight, you're not seeing a COM port pop up. So as soon as you plug in your USB, let me jump over here to Betaflight real quick. I think I'm all done. I have everything kind of unplugged here. Make sure I'm all set up. Make sure these go back into the LiPo bag. Let me jump over here real quick. Bear with me 1 second here. I gotta open up Betaflight and get that active. Oops. Let me jump back over here to the bench. All right. Initiate my Betaflight. So grab a cord real quick. When you plug in the Betaflight, top corner here, let me unauto connect that. Do you see? Can you see my cursor here? Right up here it says COM port. So you're going to make sure that when you plug in your quadcopter, it says COM port, and then I unplug it, and then it comes back and it says manual. And I plug it back in here, and it'll say COM port. No motors. You don't hear any motor noise or your D-Shock beacon because you don't have a LiPo connected to it, so there's no ESC voltage. But right there, that COM port, are you getting that COM port? I'm gonna unplug that, dude. David says previously, when I was using the Darwin LM1, Maytech where 3 had an OSD in the walks now, but after updating, I'm unable to get the OSD. UART1 and UART2, and both walks now 104. So you updated from 4.3 up above, but on 4.3 it all worked. Um, there was actually a GitHub, something in beta flight. You might want to check on that in GitHub, because I could remember something about that. That the later version of beta flight, there was something. There's one of the versions, I think. I'm not, don't quote me on that. I apologize. It's hard to answer questions of things I have no experience with. Have not used Voxel myself, but I know you need to enable digital OS. Yeah. So if we go into beta flight firmware, let me see here. So if we go into beta flight, you go into OSD here, and then you'll see right here it'll say HD. Okay. So you want to make sure that HD is connected. There was a issue with beta flight. There was a certain version of beta flight where that HD wasn't showing up. So there's a snippet in GitHub that you actually grab and you go over your CLI and dump it in, so that this will come back up. But Auto, PAL, and NTSC isn't correct for your digital stuff. So you need to have that. If that's not showing up, they created a fix for it by via a little CLI snippet. Plug in USB, FE plug in. Just read chat here. Dave loved to fly. Try to plug in. Okay, you're talking to him. If you get both ESC and flight controller beeps when you plug in the USB and LiPo, then maybe you need to solder a 5-volt regulator to the battery. So I plug in a battery to see if you can get both the motor and ESC to chime up. Yeah, depending on your... John, how you doing? John's in the chat. A lot of stuff on your channel. Always enjoy seeing everybody's channel. Dave loved to fly. Okay. Also too. A solid red light when I plug in either USB or LiPo. So that's an interesting one. Michael says also, too, it has a solid red light on when I plug it in either USB or LiPo. I actually had that happen. Let's go ahead and jump over to my channel real quick. And oh, I messed up again, didn't I? I minimized the window, and I'm not supposed to minimize the window for a transition. Bear with me 1 second. There we go. So let me go in here, make sure chat is moving along. So I had a flight controller. I'd like you to watch this video. If you plug it in and all you see is a single red light on, I had the same issue right here. This the Super Bee, the Happy Model Super Bee, it does it with their other boards as well. But what happens is when the board flexed, that popped. Does that look like something you were having issues with? Where, is that close to what you had going on? Chat's moved quite a bit. I'm running behind. Also solid green light, we need to plug in. Easy fix. When I get back, I will try that. Thank you. Okay. Not use Voxel myself, but I know I need to enable the OSD. Okay. I think with the USB plugged in, the Betaflight cannot detect the flight controller. Maybe the cable is spoiled, or the USB port is spoiled, or you have to change out the flight controller chip or buy a new flight controller. Yeah, I've gone through quite a few of these cords. Definitely want to try, make sure the cord itself works. And then in Betaflight, you have, you know, Zadig to make sure that it's plugged in correctly. Let me see here. C-Bagsy, yeah. C-Bagsy says a USB cable or drivers on the PC. That's normally why you're not able to get in there. Let me go over to my configurator and I'll go back out, disconnect, and then right here. So this is your driver fixer. So if you're having issues, you can't get the COM port to pop up when you plug it in. Right here at Zadig and Impulse driver, just to see, you know, if you're having issues with that. Check the cable first, for sure. Got the fly spot ahead, no OSD. Let me jump back over here to the bench. Make sure chat's following along with us. I'm not sure why chat likes to lag sometimes. All right. Also, Flash without OSD trying to customize things. Should not have done that. Oh, you didn't copy your OSD settings. Then I got to turn everything back on and move everything back around. Yeah, brave. Indeed. Got the fly spot, had no OSD, had the flash and configure again. Yeah, I've had no OSD when I went out to the field, and I just went into my radio. I was getting telemetry back from my receivers, so I just turned on my radio and set up a an audible. So when I push the momentary button on my radio, it tells me the LiPo voltage on my quadcopter, just in case. I've had, if you go to my channel, you can see I've had quite a few. Let me see here, playlist. So any type of analog video issues you might have. I know a lot of people are getting away from analog, but right here, this is my right here best FPV video. Did I do it again? Pardon me. I forgot that the transition doesn't work when I do that. Where'd you go? So if I go between screens, I have to reinitiate it. Sorry about that. There. So on my channel, I have a video of this one here. So I have many months of working on this, trying to get it to be perfect. My analog had to be perfect. I couldn't stand the flannel shirt and the lines and all, you know, the throttle gain. So when you throttled up, you'd get, you know, distortion or stuff going on. It really bothered me. So I worked for many months to rewire, and I got it right here, the best analog video. But because of that, because I had the OSD flickering, or it would just stop working, depending on how hot it was. You know, if it was really hot out, this OSD would just quit halfway through the flight. So I went ahead and put a momentary switch to tell me what my lipo voltage is. But this video here has helped out a lot of people. Quite a response and comments. That's kind of cool. So let's see here. We got. So I'm actually looking at chat here, make sure it's still going. I went one live stream I did, the chat was frozen. Didn't even know it. And I went through the whole live stream and it was frozen the whole time. I can go ahead and put it up in here too. All right, so where are we at here? Yeah, I got a spot to fly. I know it's the yes, but it's kind of like dim red solid light. Dim red solid light. What flight controller is it, Michael? Did Happy Model ever fix the problems with those cross flight controllers? John, I tell you what, no. I've got, I don't know if you follow Custom FPV, he's got a baggie of them things. And then there's about 5 of us that had them and nothing came of it. They quit selling it and that was the end of it. So that's the Happy Model Cross F4. Actually, that's the Cross F4 there, right? No, that's a beta flight I'm working on now. I think I got mad. I might have chucked that thing across the room, and then the diamond boards that went bad. So I bought 3 diamond boards and only got 1 of them going. The Super Bead did pretty good. I took the processor chip off and I cleaned it up real good, put some new solder in, and I solder flowed the processor back on, and it works great. It's in my one of my UWLs right now. No problem. Let me see here. Kind of clicking around on the wrong thing. I shouldn't be using that. I got a Stream Deck. Can you believe it? If you go into the description of my, go down into the description in my video, I try to add some of my Patreon and members, the paid Patreons and members of the channel. One of them's Hypnos FPV. He got me this for Christmas because he was tired of watching me fiddle around with my mouse. So it's pretty cool. Well, here's the Stream Deck Mini. It does really good, and I don't have that many transitions. I know that I've had some people complain to me in the past. They're like, man, your production value's garbage, and you really ought to, you know, because I got a wood bench and I don't have a silicon mat or whatever. They really tore me up pretty good. They were quite bold with their opinion, and I don't really care. I love the feeling of wood, and as long as I'm getting my point across and people can follow along and understand what I'm talking about, production value is whatever. But the Stream Deck is really nice. It added a lot to it. Just making sure chat's moving along here. All right. Did Happy Model... No, John, I'm sorry to tell you, they did not do anything. They never once have contacted me back via email. About the diamond, The Mobulus 6, that whole EEPROM reset thing. Never heard a word about that either. I know there's quite a few people that have that issue. Apache Smoke, how you doing? Good morning. Isn't that wild? 1 a.m. I've never live streamed late at night, and I just thought I would try it out. I know I have a lot of subscribers on the West Coast, and a lot of times I'm kind of chiming in at the early work hour or maybe during their lunch. So I don't know. Thought I'd check it out. I'm having a little hard time sleeping. I don't know if you guys know. I fell down my basement steps when I got home from the micro drone race at the National Museum of the Air Force. I was just trying to carry too much stuff down the stairs, and I missed the last three. So I'm kind of achy from that. It's 2 weeks past, but yeah. So I don't know. Can't sleep. So thought I'd do this. Some of you guys are in here you didn't see, but this is the HD0 all-in-one, the 5-in-1 HD0 bind and fly. Somebody gave this to me to fix, and I did. So then I did an amp draw test on it, and it came back at 1.6 amps setting, 25 milliwatt broadcast. That's quite a bit. That's why that thing gets so hot. Also, I'm going to do some tuning on this because the PIDs are a little bit tight and the flight time is a little bit low in my opinion. So I'm going to tweak on it, try to get a little more flight time out of it. I think it's kind of tightly tuned for racing, but I don't know. If you can't get, a 2-minute heat done, it's not that fun. Yeah, it's a shame about the Happy Model Cross situation, man. The Beta FPV Cross on my Meteor 75 Pro has been amazing. Yeah, hands down, in my opinion. I've got a few of them running. That's all I have running. I have two Super Bs, and one of them I had to fix because the processor wasn't soldered on it all the way. So two Super Bs, and then the rest are the Beta FPV. It looks like the crossbar. What is it? Beta FPV. This one here, I had broken a chip on it because I knew I was flying a broken frame. So I just got to sweat a new chip in its place, and then this thing will be rock and roll again. But this is the Beta FPV F41S ELRS V2.1, I think, is the one you want. But that Beta FPV board right there, you have to add a VTX. It has a receiver built in, but you got a VTX. This thing has been rock solid. All the guys at the club flying it, not having really any issues. I do see a lot more people using the all-in-one, 4-in-1 and the 5-in-1. I like to have the VTX separate. Now this is neat because this is HD0, and as you know, HD0's Whoop solutions are kind of heavy, so people aren't quite competing with it. But they were flying this at the museum and the Northeast Whoop Championships out in Syracuse, New York. They were flying them, and man, they were getting some insane times. Greetings, how you doing? Props, have you tried the 380 Ma Avonic 1S pack? I have not. 380, I have not. I have 300s for these. And then right now this year, I'm actually this is the first 65 that I've had in my hand in a while. This one here, I kind of retired after the museum last year. I've been flying UDL all year. So that's the 75 millimeter class. So I've been flying it all year, just trying to kind of hone in on one quad instead of jumping between all these different ones. And then I'm running these 450 packs. These are heavier. These are actually a bit heavier than the R lines. So kind of wondering about that. Isaac's looking into it. It's tough for me to say your name. And anybody that I mess up their name, I'll just apologize right now because It stems from a speech issue I had when I was younger. So, Juno, I know you did this last time. You had spelled out the pronunciation. I just say June. Can I get away with that? Apache Smoke says 6 a.m. here. Where are you at, Apache? 6 a.m. Where the heck is it 6 a.m. at? Yeah, feeling better. Yeah, 2 weeks healing up. I've been kind of nursing on it. I got my crutch handy over here just in case I need to take a little weight off. That's the other thing, man. I'm 6'3" and I'm 236 pounds. So like when you go down 3 steps, you're at like what 11 and a half foot off the ground, and man, I twisted it up pretty good. Jake FPV, how you doing? That HD0 all-in-one is hungry board. You ain't kidding. You ain't kidding. That is 1.6 amp draw on that dude. I just got done metering it here. So, and if you want to go back and look, this is my analog OVX, and it's spot on because I have an RF meter, access to an RF meter. I plugged directly in, took the antenna off, and plugged in directly to the RF meter. And this is on the money 25 milliwatt. And that's the OVX Happy Model VTX, broadcasting at 25 milliwatt, and it was 0.5 amps sitting. So 0.5 versus 1.6 amps sitting. And then I think these bind and flies, they come with a high kV motor too, man. These are 28,000 kV. This one's 23,000 kV. And then I've kind of settled a little bit on 26,000 kV, but these are 28,000 kV motors. So those motors are definitely a bit hungrier. Make sure I got my chat window open here. I think it kind of freezes up on me if I ain't paying attention. Let's see here. Michael says Flywoo F111 flight controller, pretty sure. Flywoo F411. Yeah, I would check the cable and check the and then do the driver. So what do you make sure I got this configuration. So right here. The latest driver, Zadig. I've always had luck with Zadig. Impulse RC driver fixer. I've not had luck with that. I don't know why. But if you don't get COM port up here when you plug it in, then it's probably the cable or driver. I hope I didn't mix you up with the other one. Only run the Happy Model 2G4 5-in-1 for a freestyle. 65-75 last few months usually. CMYK, you abusive on your beach quads pretty good. Last a few months. Michael says, to be honest, I would rather get a new flight controller. Know anyone that takes at least 3S and 25 millimeter to each screw. You know what? 3S. So I think it was. I actually have it. There was an HGLRC that I was having issues with. So I with the Super Duper Mega Ultralight. Oops. I have my custom canopy for that. Let me switch over here to bench. So my Super Duper Mega Ultralight. This is my analog one, and oops, that ain't what I wanted. I think it was this one. Yeah. Sorry, this is the one with the Vista in it. This board right here is the Mamba. Um, they discontinued it on me, and this is the Mamba F40. And that dude, oops, that dude is something else. I mean, full send, no issues. It can run 3S, no problem. Don't have any issues with. You can run 3S on it, even though it's rated for 6S. You can still run 3S on it. The only thing that really matters is whether or not if it's rated for 2 to 6S, you can run 3S on it. But Mamba came out with that board. There's another board similar to that. And I've been looking at this. I think it's the Speedy Bee. I have to look it up here. I want to get it. I don't have money to spend on it right now, but I want to get it. I haven't seen stock on it. That's the other thing. Man, what's up with the stock? Can't see anything in stock. But Speedy Bee has a really good flight controller that might work out for you, especially for 3S. Let me see if I can pull that up here. Let's see here. Because I run a lot of Speedy Bee stuff. Let's see here. That's a 405. There we go. Transition here to, bear with me one second. I'm not real savvy at this. I do all right, but I'm not like super savvy at doing live streams. I get around. So this is the one that I want to get. So this has the whoop size mounting points. It has all kinds of stuff. And I'll be honest with you, the 405 processor I think is a good processor. The other thing I like is it had a barometer, because I don't know, I'm kind of geeky like that. I like to know how I am. But the 405 is a good thing. Has a built-in. I do use the Speedy Bee. I use a on-the-go cable to use it, but this one you can do it wirelessly. And then my Mamba boards have it in it. But this one here is pretty neat. I haven't used it, and I don't know anybody that's used it or anybody in chat use this board. I think this would be an excellent board for a 3S build. Yeah, you got to watch it when you're looking at boards. You see here 3S to 6S. If it says 3S to 6S, it means it, because you don't want to connect. You don't want to buy this and run a 2S on it, because the coils aren't correct. So when you plug it in 2S, it's not going to work out. But I want to get that one. So that was Michael that asked that. June says, I was able to build a 6504 whoop at 20 grams. It flies amazing. 20 grams? I know the 04, it's what, 8.2 grams? That's pretty amazing. I mean, you're flying a GoPro with 8.2 grams. You know, GoPro, I mean, what would be equal to a GoPro 8? Would you go that far to say that it looks that good? I'm not talking about the 04 Pro. I'm talking about the 04. Apache Smoke, you're in Holland. You know, I don't think I've ever asked you that before. Holland. It'd be kind of cool to travel. I don't travel. I mean, hotels are like, what, $230 a night in some cases. I'm sorry, I just can't have me and the family are not going to stay at a hotel that has hourly rates. So they're expensive. Just one night. I need to get me a camper. But I would like to travel. I want to go to Germany too. Jake says the HD Zero All-in-One is really great on the 75 millimeter. Gives you efficiency and a little bit more hungriness of the board. Um, I'm kind of curious. They must have. I will say one thing that's. Let me jump back over here to the bench. Not that one. I will say one thing about this flight controller. I took this quad apart after he gave it to me and went under the microscope, did a little thing and two, and but in the microscope I noticed one thing that I was very happy to see. This quad is using the BB21 microprocessors on the ESCs. Thankfully, I do believe, in my opinion, the BB51s are not of quality compared to the BB21s. So on one of my flight controllers I'm using, I actually took all of the components off and put them all back on. And I don't know if you guys have seen, but I have my little programmer. So if I lose an ESC, I can go in with these two little pins and I can reprogram the ESC without the quadcopter. I don't need the flight controller to do that. So I went in and reprogrammed them all and got it going. I think the BB51s aren't as good, so I was really happy to see that they spent the extra bucks and got the BB21 microprocessors on that. But yeah, I could see 75. So Jake, FPV, what size motor and KV are you running on your 75, and what kind of prop do you have? I'm just curious. CGT 18R dudes. Yeah, have a good one. CMYK. Appreciate you stopping by and popping in, checking it out. Michael, sure I'll get it. I was already thinking to get one. Let me know next time you get it built up. See, make sure chat's moving along for 75. So yeah, the 802.25. Okay. Gem Fan Buy Blades. Just recently got a hot air gun. What temps for chips? So on my hot air gun, this is my hot air gun. And I think I'm running just about two. Depends on how thin the PDB is and how aggressive of a ground they used. If they used a really aggressive ground, I'll run it up to 300, but 280. And then also, if you're reflowing chips and you're using solder paste, like a specific solder paste, they should have a temperature on there. If you go to my channel, let me see here. Turn the studio mode off again. I'll see if I could do this without losing it this time. Studio mode. Videos. Did I not transition? Of course I didn't. I'm terrible. And that's all right. There. You guys always got to bear with me, especially at 1:30 in the morning. I'm actually starting to feel a little bit more tired. But yeah, so down here, I go through all the settings in this video right here. The Happy Model Diamond. So I go through all the stuff in here of my settings, and then I just kind of give you like a look at how I'm doing that. and what paste I use, and all the info's in that video. On this board, I took the BB. I think this was the BB21. I took the microcontrollers and the voltage regulator and two of the filters in the voltage regulator system. I took them out and replaced them, and then cleaned everything up real good. And that flight controller is in my my line of sight quad. Have you guys seen that line of sight quad? I mean, I'd grab it real quick, but yeah, you want to check that video out. That's gonna give you all the info on how I go about doing things. Make sure chat's still moving along here. Oh, see, it was frozen. All right. I'll get it there. Okay, go check it out. Yeah, so could grab my museum build, but I found these really, I don't know, they're pretty good. They're 1S voltage regulators that will take a 1S LiPo, and I mean it's low. It's like 1.8 volt. I might even be lower than that. I'm thinking it's about 1.8 volt. I'm sorry. Let me back up. 2.8 volts, and it will take it to 5 volts. And it's a good, steady, clean 5 volts. I finally found some. So that way you can kind of build like neat little whoop things, little projects, and you can have that good, clean 5 volts from a 1S LiPo. I could show them to you, but that's how I got my my line of sight quad. Built out all the LEDs all over it and everything. It's kind of fun, you know. At the museum race, the kids would be kind of lined up against the barrier, and I would fly over, you know, all the LEDs, and it was just stupid loud. I put some bi-blade props on it, the loudest bi-blade prop I could find, and then I found some 0802 motors that were really loud. So it's pretty gnarly. Yeah, 5 volt rig. Yeah, it worked out pretty good. Yeah, I just got done making my wire harness for the amp draw test. I tested out this LiPo, so he's good to go. Unbelievably, but he's good to go. I think I got everything I wanted to get done. I'm kind of feeling a little bit bad because there's 2 questions I don't feel like I could answer. The red light situation, and then the walk snail 04 stuff. I don't think I'm gonna actually get into doing anything with walk snail. I did contact them, and they told me, you know, my country was you know, full, so I didn't have access to it that way, and I just don't think I'm gonna buy anything. I'm running DJI, but I'm running the older stuff. I was very nice subscriber gave me the V2 goggles and a couple of Vistas, and so I'm running that older DJI stuff. I have flown it though. One of my club members bought the Avata 2, and he's like, "Yeah, here's 2 packs. Check it out." Man, did that ruin me. Oh man, because then I went back to my analog race quad, and boy, that was something else. It was so good. The goggles really fit well too. But as far as being able to understand all the things that are going on, the inner workings and some of the, I don't know, behind the scenes hacks for OSD and stuff, I just don't have that much knowledge on it. And definitely nothing with Vox now. Well, I see 7 people in here, and it is 1:30 a.m. Um, But I'm totally willing to answer another question if you guys have anything that you've seen on the channel, or is everybody, hey, you guys all subscribed, right? I know that most of you are. I'm not sure how to like I don't know if there's a way in YouTube to where you can pop out like a notification. I mean, other than clicking the bell, right? But I don't know, like any way to notify other than making a plan and not just randomly having a live stream. But just to let people know that the live stream's going. I'm not sure if there's a way to, like an inbox setting or something. I'm not pushing. But yeah, late night stream. You guys have any questions or comments or anything on the channel you're curious about? I'll be posting a video tomorrow. I think I'm gonna do my first premiere. I've not done a premiere before. Normally I just post it when I'm done with it, done editing it. I'm doing a giveaway. I'll be giving away a little sneak peek. That's all you get. So I'll be doing a giveaway, but it'll last a week. You don't have to worry about it. But all the instructions will be in the video. So it's my 6-year anniversary. So PropsOff 6-year anniversary. I'm gonna do a little video tomorrow. I already filmed it, and I just gotta edit it and then push it out for a premiere. So that should be kind of cool. And then I might as well end the stream if nobody has questions. On a good note here, let me pull something up real quick. I want to share this with you, just to make sure I'm doing my due diligence to get this information out. So this is my website, and right here I have the community challenge. If you would check out my community challenge, I just want to know, let me know if you're interested in making a 1 to 1.5 minute video showing off how you share the hobby with a total stranger. I feel like if more people in the community were to reach out to people that might have an interest in it, but I'm curious to wonder how you share the hobby. I put a video in here, this video here, of how I shared the hobby. This came up in like a 3 or 4 year old, you know how Facebook will say, hey, it's been 3 years, revisit history. And that's what made me think to do this community challenge. So there's an RSVP form. So if you're interested in participating, click on that RSVP form just to let me know how many people. Right now, not many people. So I'm just going to continue talking about it. But yeah, check that out. Jake FPV, you gonna check that out? Oh, I went one line up. All right, Apache Smoke, man, you have a good one. Yeah, I'm kind of there myself. Got everything done that I was wanting to work on, and I thought, what the heck, if I'm down here working on something, maybe somebody's struggling to fix something, and hopefully I can help. I feel a little defeated that I wasn't able to figure out a couple other things, but maybe a couple of the things that we said will get it along there. But yeah, if you guys don't have any questions, I appreciate you stopping by and checking it out. And you guys are part of the very first late night with PropsOff. I don't know if I'll do it again because as I get a little tired as it moves on, I start forgetting things. So, but yeah, I appreciate y'all stopping by and being a part of this channel and supporting what I do. So enjoy the breeze.